It was a calm, warm July night, the kind that lingers in your memory. Fresh out of our first year of high school, my friends Marcus and I were hanging out, enjoying the summer break. The sky was dark, dotted with stars, and the air was eerily still, no wind at all, which gave the night an uncanny feel. But we brushed it off, wandering the town streets, looking for something fun and maybe a little foolish to do. After wandering aimlessly for hours, we decided to take a break in the middle of a large outdoor sports complex on our way back to Marcus's house. It was just past midnight, and we chose a spot deep inside the complex, sitting on the curb of a road that cut through it. This road separated the various sports fields from the dense, dark woods that surrounded the area. We found ourselves in one of the most isolated sections, illuminated only by a single flickering streetlight above us. The light reached across the road, but abruptly stopped at the edge of the forest, leaving the trees shrouded in darkness. We sat there, talking for about an hour, lost in our conversation and the eerie, almost surreal atmosphere of our little island of light amidst the encroaching shadows. Little did we know what could have been lurking in the pitch-black darkness that surrounded us. The night maintained its eerie stillness, like the calm before a storm. Behind us was a series of large fields separated by fences, all cloaked in darkness, much like the woods directly across the road. To our left was a dead-end road with large metal crates, and to our right, the road stretched past more fences and fields, eventually leading to a parking lot and the exit. The entire scene was enveloped in an unsettling silence, creating a sinister atmosphere we were too distracted to fully notice. As we continued our late-night chat, still buzzing from all the soda we consumed, I momentarily lost track of the conversation and checked my phone. That's when I started to hear it, multiple human-like voices drifting from far behind us. Judging by the direction and volume, it seemed to be coming from where the forest met the furthest field, hidden in the dark. The voices were chanting in a strange, eerie language, sending chills down my spine. I tried to focus on my phone, scrolling through memes to distract myself, but the unsettling chants were impossible to ignore. I turned to rejoin the conversation, hoping my friends hadn't noticed, but to my surprise, they had already stopped talking. When I looked at them, I saw they were staring back at me with the same spooked expressions, clearly having heard the same chilling sounds. My friend Marcus whispered, "Dude, do you hear that creepy chanting?" I replied, "Yeah, it's freaking me out." Just as I said that, an immense gust of wind ripped through the trees in front of us, shattering the calm night. The tree canopies shook and bent, leaves rattling loudly, while the eerie chanting persisted in the distance. In unison, the three of us jumped to our feet, as if a bolt of fear had struck us all at once. Before we could utter a word, an ear-splitting sound erupted from the forest before us. It was like a mix of a gong being struck, a scream, a growl, and a deep rumble, an otherworldly noise that still haunts me to this day. That was it. My friends and I didn't exchange a word or even glance at each other. We all instinctively knew we needed to get out of there, and fast. Almost in perfect sync, we turned and vaulted over the fence to our right, landing in a soccer field. We sprinted as if our lives depended on it, the adrenaline propelling us forward. I've never run so fast in my life. My mind was blank, consumed only by the shock of what had just happened. My body seemed to move on its own, carrying me across the dark expanse of the field. We headed towards Marcus's neighborhood, desperate for the safety of his house. As we ran, the wind continued to howl, and I could still hear the faint, eerie chanting cutting through the breeze. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of flickering candle lights arranged in an eerie formation near the tree line behind us. We eventually had to crawl through a hole in another fence to escape the field. Then we sprinted through some foliage until we reached Marcus's house. We burst in, slammed the door shut, locked it, and collapsed on the couch. To this day, I am haunted by that night. I still wonder what those voices were, how the wind suddenly whipped up so fiercely, and the origin of that otherworldly sound. The near-perfect synchronization of everything that happened still puzzles me. My personal theory is that the chanting was part of a distant demonic ritual, conjuring some sort of otherworldly portal close to us. But who knows what was really going on that night? I'm just grateful we got away. This happened on my 19th birthday. My friends threw me a party in the west part of the city at an exclusive venue called Gran Platin in Mexico. It's a luxurious place where many wealthy locals reside. The party wrapped up around 3:10 in the morning. As I was leaving and heading to my car, I noticed a few strange things. There was a scarf draped over the front door, and on my car's windshield, I saw a handprint. But it wasn't just any handprint. It was enormous and didn't look human at all. After that unsettling discovery, I got into my car and drove off. About 7 minutes from my house, I passed the community cemetery just like any other day. But this time my car, a Honda Civic, suddenly stopped and switched off completely. It was dead. It could have been the motor or the battery, but I wasn't sure. I got out to investigate, opening the hood to check for any obvious issues. As I was looking around, I started hearing a strange noise coming from the cemetery. Then, I noticed figures dressed in all black, wearing masks on their faces. I jumped back into my car, locked the doors, and tried to remain unnoticed. The figures seemed to ignore me at first. I tried to start the car, but it wouldn't budge. Terror gripped me as the cemetery gate creaked open and more figures emerged, forming two lines. At 19, stuck in front of a cemetery with masked strangers, I felt like a deer in headlights. The men pointed at me, and people began surrounding my car. The tallest one stood right in front of it. Panicked, I desperately twisted the key, praying the car would start. They started pulling at the doors and pounding on the windows. Tears streamed down my face as I realized just how trapped I was. At that moment, my car miraculously turned on. I quickly put it in gear and floored the accelerator. I braced myself, expecting to hit someone, but nothing happened. The figure in front seemed to vanish as I drove through him. Glancing in my rearview mirror, I saw no one behind me. I arrived home, shaken and terrified. I wasn't high or drunk. This wasn't a hallucination. Those people were there, and then in an instant they weren't. What on earth was happening that night at the cemetery? What do you think about these spine-chilling encounters? Have you ever experienced something unexplainable? Share your thoughts and horror stories in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more eerie tales. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay safe, and remember, there's always more lurking in the shadows than meets the eye.